going to be one of the most epic days in crypto. Not only do we have a massive Bitcoin ETF surge, and we could potentially see Bitcoin hit $100,000 in a month, maybe 2 months, who even knows? But it looks like the SEC could have possibly changed their stance on crypto. I have an insane clip of Gary Gensler while he was sitting down with the infamous Jim Cramer, just really giving a 180. And the crazy thing about it, he was literally repeating Hester Peirce by verbatim, word for word. And the key point there was disclosures. We're going to talk about that. And we're going to talk about the potential of an XRP ETF, because that was also floated about as well. So let's go ahead. Let's get straight into it. I am beyond excited, and you should be too. This right now is going to be the market cap of what's going on in crypto. We're going to go ahead and take a look at the daily, and this is happening on the daily. In addition to that, DOG, which is a Bitcoin meme coin. And if you've watched my channel, if you've watched all of the daily live streams, you would have known about this, because we've talked about it. It is almost hitting a $1 billion market cap. This was a free airdrop you could have gotten if you bought a rune stone. I bought 2 rune stones. I got the airdrop. And if you watched the live stream, you would have known this as well. But let's first get into the story about Bitcoin ETF inflows, because this is absolutely bonkers. And yes, you're not going to necessarily see a big price movement upward with the ETFs. My personal opinion is a lot of this is kind of done OTC. So we're not going to see a big boost on the market. However, it's essentially stabilizing price, like what this article is talking about. Bitcoin price stabilizes as ETF inflows exceed 886 million for second highest day ever. And this was yesterday. And this was the second highest day since March 12th this year. If you are not bullish, I don't know what to tell you. All right. This is absolutely wild. This is exciting. And we're seeing a lot of very big names. Marquee investors predict Bitcoin to hit $100,000. Galaxy Digital CEO anticipates significant price surge as well. Plus, some other key things to take into consideration here. The market is anticipating a Fed rate cut in September. Investors expect a cut of at least 25 BPS. Some hope for 50 BPS. And if this happens, this could potentially pump Bitcoin up even more, because remember, Bitcoin is essentially a hedge against inflation, a hedge against the banks, and a hedge against every other insane thing that is happening in 2024. Now, this next story here. Nearly $900 million into Bitcoin spot ETFs today, close to 1 billion inflows in a single day. And this is from Nate Gerasi, is a president of ETF Store. I was told several months ago that all of the degen retail investors who wanted to buy had already done so, and there was no one left. One thing I will say about this is, remember when we started to have those outflows? That's what this could be. People were selling and now they're maybe buying back in. But at the end of the day, we don't really know, because none of this stuff is essentially transparent yet. We've talked a lot about on the show about traditional financial companies disclosing that they've invested or they purchased Bitcoin spot ETFs, or they added it to their balance sheets, X, Y, and Z. But we don't find this out until generally the end of the quarter or the beginning of the next quarter. So again, BlackRock has been really, really hitting hard on tokenizing traditional financial products, which we will get into that soon. But if we started tokenizing a lot of these products, would we be able to see them in real time? Right? That's what I'm thinking. I'm hoping that it's going to be a lot more transparent. But at the same time, I don't necessarily trust these people. Also, too, it was reported that BlackRock bought 3,900 Bitcoin yesterday. And again, BlackRock is not to be messed with. They mean business and they care about their bottom line. Let's go ahead and take a quick look at the Bitcoin charts here, because we are now trading at approximately $71,000. Bitcoin is going up because the market is excited. This is going to be the IBIT spot ETF from Blackrock. This is the weekly. We will go to the daily. And as you can see, this looks like an absolute gorgeous chart. And it looks like we could, in fact, break above $41.96. That was the current all-time high that was achieved on March 13th of 2024, and is also the top of the Bollinger Band upper cloud here. Now, taking a look at Bitcoin, we're also pinching the upper part of the band at about 71.5. We could get a little bit of a pullback, but at the same time, we're looking pretty strong. And the all-time high of Bitcoin is $73,700. Could this be a bull trap? Yes. Could we hit this $73,000 area and have a pullback? Yes. But at the same time, this price action is exciting. So if you're playing with altcoins right now, have a risk management plan. Either take profits, hold, do whatever it is you got to do. But this is incredibly bullish to me, and it's exciting. It is very, very exciting to see all that is happening with the crypto markets. And I cannot wait to cover the story about Gary Gensler doing a 180 when it comes to crypto and really saying that things are not necessarily a security anymore, but they just need proper disclosures. And I'll explain to you why that is bullish, okay? But if we just go ahead and we draw our fibs, which I'm not going to draw them too terribly much to scale, just toss them on so you can see. The next price area for Bitcoin is approximately $90,000. Obviously, you're going to have areas in here. And if you want to be a lazy trader like myself, you can go ahead and pull your fibs to see different areas of price discovery. And this is the best way to deal with price discovery, is to use fibs. It works for me, might not work for you. Do what works for you. But this story here is also incredibly bullish. I'm not going to play the entire clip for you, but I'm just going to let you know exactly what Brad Garlinghouse, the CEO of Ripple, said about a potential XRP ETF. And if we do get an XRP ETF, this could be massive. Absolutely massive, because look what's happening with Bitcoin price action. Look what's happening with Bitcoin price action. So basically in this clip over here, because it's a little bit long, Brad discussed on a crypto ETF on Fox Business and believed that the Ethereum ETF will do well, which I honestly think that's good sportsmanship on his end, considering we have this whole Ethereum gate conspiracy. And I appreciate him for saying that, because I hold a lot of Ethereum. So fingers crossed we see that $10,000 Ethereum. All right. He also said the US should be investing in these technologies, crypto. Other ETFs are inevitable, like Solana and XRP. It makes sense to have other crypto ETFs, and the US is behind the rest of the world when it comes to crypto and innovation. And him saying this, I agree 100%. Why? Well, because when you look at other countries, especially the different countries that Ripple has decided to do business in, again, they're still operating in the United States of America, but they are tending to move operations overseas little by little in areas that are crypto friendly. And that makes sense. Why would you want to do business in a place that is not safe to do business, to where you can just get sued by existing? And that's exactly what happened to Ripple. He says he says also the XRP ETF will be here in 2025. Again, this is allegedly. And he also said that before the SEC got involved in XRP, Brad stated that he believes that before the SEC got involved with Ripple, it essentially hurt XRP because it was the second most valuable digital asset, not Ethereum. And you can go ahead and go back and watch this clip here by Digital Asset Investor. This is the clip where Brad Garlinghouse is talking about how successful XRP could have been if it wasn't for the SEC. And I agree with them. And I'm not only going to agree with him, but I'm going to prove it to you by showing you the XRP chart. Even though XRP does have a large supply, does have a large market cap, and it is essentially a lot harder for a lot of these assets, crypto assets with large market caps, to appreciate in price, because it takes a lot to move it. But look, XRP hit $3.29 back in 2017. Back in 2021, and I believe this was prior to, I think it was after the SEC hit Ripple, it would trade it at $1.95. And again, back in 2021, last cycle, a lot of altcoins were able to surpass their all-time high. And imagine what could have happened if Ripple wouldn't have been inundated by the SEC unjustly. That's exactly what happened. Also, too, you guys, if you are interested in trading with me, we are currently partnered with ZoomX. With ZoomX, what you can do is you can use their centralized part of the exchange or the decentralized part of the exchange. So if you're brand new to crypto and you're just playing around, check out the centralized aspect. But if you've been in the game, you got to take a look at the decentralized aspect, because you get to hold your own keys, not your keys, not your coins, not your keys. Sorry. It's still been a week for me. But again, as always, read the terms of service. The ref link is down below. And please do not leave your crypto assets on exchange, and practice risk management. Now, the spot Ethereum ETF could absorb over 1 million ETH in the first 5 months. And this story is according to The Block. And they state that in the U.S. could attract between 3.1 billion and 4.8 billion in net inflows in their first 5 months after trading begins. And this is according to K33 Research. At current Ether prices, this represents supply absorption of 800,000 Ethereum to 1.26 million of Ethereum, which is equivalent to between 0.7 and 1.05 of the circulating supply, analysts said. Now, I want to discuss this a little bit, all right? I want to discuss it because down over here, it says some 3.3 of Ethereum's circulating supply currently sits in investment vehicles and has been on a steady downtrend since November of 2021 bull market peak. According to analysts, that mirrors similar trend for Bitcoin held in investment vehicles dropped to 4.1% ahead of the spot Bitcoin ETF launch hype. Bitcoin exchange traded products have since grown to 5.6% of the circulating supply. So we're starting to hear this idea that Ethereum could have a supply shock. What does this mean? Well, if we're seeing large entities, and remember, when they approved the Ethereum spot ETF, they approved all of the applications. I want to say there was 9 or 12 entities, not 100% sure. But with that being said, if we take a look at Bitcoin's price has actually held pretty steady, very, very steady on the chart. And again, the Ethereum spot ETF has not begun trading yet. It has not. We're still essentially waiting for that. But realistically, Bitcoin is held nicely above $60,000. And this is absolutely incredible. And can you imagine if that also happened to Ethereum? If we were able to really hold above like $3,600, and again, price may dip. I could be 100% wrong here. But since we have the approval of the ETF, what if we're able to hold above this area of support at about $3,600 or even above $3,200 and continue an upward trajectory? Because all-time high is not too far away. It's almost about $1,000 difference at $4,800. And then realistically, for us to get to $10,000 Ethereum, it's not too far off from where we are now. It is only about 161% price pump, which if you take a look at a lot of other altcoins and a lot of other crypto assets, that's not a really big upward move. And I think it is very much doable with Ethereum. However, I will be conservative and I will say $7,000 to $10,000 Ethereum, because we like to be conservative on this channel. I think it's incredibly important. Also, too, U.S. Ethereum futures account for 5% of Bitcoin futures ETF, and global Ethereum ETPs hold 28.2% of the assets under management compared to Bitcoin ETPs. Plus, analysts like Larry Fink, who has been incredibly bullish on Ethereum, especially RWAs, could strengthen the performance, which I agree. I do not think Larry Fink would put his name behind anything or put his money behind anything he doesn't expect to do well. And again, people are still referring this to as expected supply absorption from the ETFs. And again, I don't know really exactly how they trade these, but I'm pretty sure it's probably done OTC where it doesn't impact the market too terribly much. Because of course, we got to get into investor protection, because why not? And then I want to give a pretty hot take about Vitalik over here. He sounds a little bit salty, but because he is the father of Ethereum, we're going to cover it. He says, I'm feeling quite unhappy about this cycle's celebrity experimentation so far. Financialization as a means toward an end. I can respect if the end is worthy, healthcare, open source software, art, etc. Art can be debated. Art can be exactly whatever it is people want it to be. Financialization as a final product. Ashton and Mila's Stoner Cats was vastly more honorable than anything we've seen in 2024. And I'm going to stop right there because it's a horrible take. Yes, he can be right and wrong in the same time. And I understand what he's talking, but when you start to talk about art, okay, cool. Because let's say, for example, Iggy Azalea launching a meme coin on Solana. That's for her community. And if she's all in, she's all in. Same with Caitlyn Jenner and Jenner. So again, it's a true decentralized economy and people could do what they want to do. But the fact that he dropped Ashton Kutcher and Mila Kunis and their failed project that was just absolutely horrible, I would have left that part out. That's where he lost me. But I digress. I just want to show you all some of these hot takes from Twitter, just in case if you're not there. Also, he goes about a big rant over here about a DAO or a public good deal, etc. And at the same time, Vitalik, thank you for creating Ethereum. Thank you for helping me make money. But people can do whatever they want in a true decentralized economy. And that is what it is. And I will continue to say that with my chest. Now, we have partnered with API 3 for today's show. And the reason why is they are another awesome Oracle project. We talk a lot about oracles here. And the reason why is because without oracles, DeFi doesn't function as well as it should. And with that being said, Chainlink is a great example of that. But we have another project, API 3, that is essentially challenging them. And I think it's awesome. So real world data for Web3, which is straight from the source. And again, when we're talking about this project versus Link, everybody knows what Link is because Chainlink has been around for a long time. And essentially, when we're talking about oracles, you need them to get accurate price data for a lot of the a lot of the dApps that we use, and just to really use DeFi. Because again, then you have these these massive different prices. I'm having trouble talking today, but you get a lot of different prices on different exchanges, whether it's decentralized or centralized, et cetera. And that's not good. We want everything to be the same. We want everybody to have equal access. So API 3 uses what they called DAPIs. It's a little bit different. And so the contract resides on the same chain as the consumer dApp, and there's no bridging and no exploits. And it maximizes reliability and transparency and essentially makes DeFi safer for everyone, because even though centralized exchanges do have their own negative aspects of it, DeFi does too. There's hacks and there's all kinds of crazy things that happen. And we're extremely early on this one. So if you're a big fan, fan of Chainlink, I highly recommend you take a look into it. They also have really nice APY if you are staking. If you're going to be staking, you do need to practice risk management. That basically means learn about impermanent loss, potentially use a Moonbag, all of those things there, okay? And it's been trading on major exchanges for quite some time. And I highly recommend you follow them on Twitter. Follow their socials. Now let's go ahead and dig in. To what is happening with Blackrock, Citadel, and Blackrock. All right, because it's going to be a game changer. And again, we had talked about Blackrock tokenizing assets, which I think that they will. But this story right here is a little bit exciting because it has to do with Texas. So let's get into this next story. So they are among investors backing a new stock exchange in Texas. And the reason why it's bullish to me is not only because it's opening in Texas and they're bringing more competition to the market, but at the same time, we're hearing BlackRock talk about tokenized assets. So you don't think that they're going to introduce this on their brand new stock exchange? The stock exchange is going to be called TXSE, and they aim to be more CEO friendly, whatever that means. And it's going to be an alternative to the NYSE and NASDAQ, addressing concerns about rising regulation and compliance costs. They're targeting companies dissatisfied with NASDAQ's diversity disclosure rule. Anytime I hear the word diversity, y'all know what that means. And they're going to be a fully electronic exchange seeking SEC registration. They want to start trading in 2025 and listings to begin in 2026. And they will target companies in southeastern US. And the reason why this is so important is tokenized assets. Because if they're bullish on crypto, you don't think they're going to start to slowly introduce that? You don't think so? I think they will. And this next story over here is, to me, is really going to be the kicker. This is from Good Morning Crypto. Thank you so much for posting this. But there's going to be a little clip about what is happening and Blackrock and Citadel. So let's go ahead and listen to this, because they're really talking about how tokenization is the next evolution in finance. And you best believe they're going to be using some sort of crypto asset. Remember Ondo? That's another thing we talked about on the show. Let's go ahead and listen and hear what they have to say. Because again, we don't have to trust these guys, but let's go ahead and follow that money.
We believe the next step going forward will be the tokenization of financial assets. And that means every stock, every bond will have its own, basically, CUSIP. It'll be on one general ledger. Every investor, you and I, will have our own number, our own identification. We could rid ourselves of all issues around illicit activities about bonds and stocks and digital by having
We will be more transparent. That's exactly what I'm getting from this. Again, I don't trust these TradFi companies, but at the same time, if we can follow everything they do, when they do it, instead of having to wait months or weeks or days or hours or whatever it is, do you understand how much more profitable most of us will be?
Tokenization. But the most importantly thing, we can customize strategies through tokenization that fits every individual. We would have
customized strategies that fit every individual. So basically, copy trade, not financial advice.
Instantaneous settlement. Think about all the costs of settling bonds and stocks.
That right there was the key. When he said settlements, he cares about his bottom line. Because BlackRock cares about the bottom line, they're going to merge over to tokenized assets because they want to save money. And essentially, this could potentially hurt the banks.
But if you had a tokenization, everything would be immediate because it's just a line item. And so we believe this is a technological transformation for financial assets. I believe if you want to talk about voting and voting choice and all the things.
Voting, that's another interesting one. Go on, sir.
We know every moment who is the owner of that stock, and it's now time to vote. Every individual who has ownership is identified and they can vote their own share.
I love to hear this. I absolutely love it. Now, this is the moment I've been waiting for on the show. We're going to play this clip of Mr. Gensler. It is a bit long, but please bear with me.
Okay, now, Polkadot, Cordana, Cosmos, Immutable, Ronin, Bonk, Osmosis, Sushi Swap, My Neighbor Alice have all traded millions. I'm talking about millions of dollars this very morning. Now, should we have a Sushi Swap, maybe an ETF, or the proprietary kind? Just say, I would think that Bonk is a natural, and Osmosis. These are trading Gary, these are millions of dollars. These things are traded.
First off, shout out to Kramer for shilling our bags.
Shouldn't we have it? Shouldn't we have some sort of product?
Let me say something more broadly about the crypto markets. Right now, without prejudging anyone, these tokens, whether they're the ones Jim listed or other tokens, have not given you the disclosures that you not only need to make your investment decisions, but also that are required by the law.
Okay, first off, let's get into it. There's a lot of different caveats here we got to talk about. First off, we still do not have regulatory clarity. Is crypto a security or commodity? What is it? Some of it with Bitcoin and Ethereum, we do. But now Gary Gensler is backpedaling because there's been other times where he has talked where he's like, you know what? I don't know if Ethereum is a security or not, number one. Number two, every crypto asset is a security. We've heard him say this so many different times, but now he's backpedaling. And he is literally regurgitating every single thing Hester Peirce had said. Disclosure, disclosure, disclosure. And you know what? We talked earlier last week about Hester Peirce and the sandbox. When it comes to the sandbox, she basically wanted to partner with the UK. And it was going to it was going to be proposed by the Bank of England and the UK financial regulator. And the sandbox would offer US companies a safe place to experiment with blockchain-based trading of securities without fear of regulatory repercussions. In addition to that, companies can graduate from the sandbox once they have complied and they worked within the constraints of that sandbox and get special regulatory permission. And they would do so with a FinHub. So there would be a group, a FinHub of different people that would essentially guide them on what they can and can't do. And to me, this sounds very much like her Safe Harbor Act 2.0. Gary Gensler has made a massive 180. Now he's not calling all of these crypto asset securities. He is simply saying we need the proper disclosures. And I'm going to tell you how to get these proper disclosures. And this was a conversation that I had with Hester. It was a very brief conversation. I sat down, we had coffee, it was a large group of people. But a simple disclosure could be having something on a centralized exchange that was just, a bunch of verbiage, the risk, et cetera, what this is, whatever. Every single time you go to trade something, you have to read it and check it off. And decentralized exchanges can provide the similar disclosure as well. And if we see that happen in America, we are going to continue to thrive. Because right now we're doing well, but we're not there yet. We're getting close, but we're not there yet. We are not. But a U.S. political change could expose crypto to $20 trillion industry. And this is from somebody from Bitwise, a crypto asset manager. And they said that regulatory clarity may attract billions from financial industries. If we get the passage of FIT 21, if that gets approved, and the CFTC starts making rules and we just really get clarity and companies can continue to start operating and continue to sponsor conferences and do business here, not only are we going to create jobs, but we are going to inject so much money into the pockets of Americans, $20 trillion. And the fact that Gary Gensler, which works for an independent agency and is an elected bureaucrat, has done a complete 180 on crypto and says, you know what? We don't really know if they're securities or not. We just really care about proper disclosures. Bam. That was it. That was it. For me, that is a complete 180. So maybe we're going to see the sandbox from Ms. Hester get approved. Companies can continue to operate in that sandbox and then eventually get the special licenses they need. And you know what? I'm okay with that. It doesn't sound too bad. Because to me, that is giving disclosure. It's identifying risk. It's saying, hey, X, Y, and Z could happen. Are you aware? You could make your own choice for yourself and continue to participate in the markets. You got the disclosures, you got the consumer protection, and then the good companies that are operating in that sandbox can continue to do business and work towards getting that special license, creating jobs, paying taxpayer dollars, and really stimulating the economy. And that's exactly what we need. And this is why I am bullish for the future of crypto and Bitcoin. We are getting close. And in addition to that, House members sent a letter to Biden and lawmakers urging them to bring detained Binance employee back home, which again, we're seeing more positive news come out from our public servants. This is good. This is bullish. Okay. It means that they care about crypto. It means that they want to do the right thing. This is what we need. It's what we need. And on top of that, progress is being made by the Senate, and they're bringing discussions about another crypto regulation bill. And this time it's going to be with the Senate Agriculture member, which is a little bit interesting to me, But at the same time, I'm here for it. I'm here to hear what they have to say. And it's going to be called the Digital Commodities Consumer Protection Act. They want to regulate trading of digital commodities to protect consumers, prevent fraud, and ensure transparency and accountability. So again, this is going to be within the SEC. They have a different jurisdiction than the SEC, but at the same time, we're seeing positive action occur here. Positive action, positive steps forward. We didn't hear anything about our public servants in America talk about what's going on with Binance in that country and get that man back home. But now we are. We have Gary Gensler that has made a complete 180 on crypto. We have Hester Peirce's sandbox that she wants to work with UK regulators to get crypto companies to essentially have a safe place to where they can create. And honestly, this is all bullish. Could you imagine if we get that $20 trillion injected into the market? Could you? And on that note, you guys, I am going to get going. I'm trying to keep these streams a little bit shorter and give you guys a lot more information. Thank you so much for watching. Make sure to like, comment, subscribe, set alerts, all of the good stuff. I will catch you all later tomorrow at 10 a.m. PST. Thank you to YouTube. Thank you to TikTok. We're ending the stream with almost 300 people, almost 100 on TikTok. Sending everyone love and light. And I'm going to drop a video for you guys about dog tomorrow. Bye-bye. Well, today we're doing it.